Hey everyone, Unearned Ink here. This is a good story for all of our parents with kids. Obviously, we focus a lot on stocks and dividend investing, but one of your biggest expenses if you have kids is sending them to college. And I think this is a great story because it highlights a lot about the wealth gap, which is really not called out in this article. But when you start to kind of read between the lines, you see some interesting things that are starting to come out. So Harvard will make tuition free for more students. So families with incomes of 200,000 and under will essentially get a free ride to Harvard. Obviously, you still have to have the good grades and everything to get in there, but this is a trend with, and this is where it becomes interesting. So previously at Harvard, only families with incomes under 85,000 were offered free tuition. The median household income in the United States is about 80,000. So Harvard has essentially said, originally we're at 85,000. Now we're raising that rate to 200,000. So if you make 200,000 and under as a household, your kid could go to Harvard for free. University of Pennsylvania announced this last November. They made it 200,000 and under. MIT also announced $200,000 in the cutoff, similar to a plan for Caltech. So what they're not saying is essentially imagine if you are a black family, you have a husband that makes 100,000, you have a wife that makes 100,000, even with two six-figure incomes, they're saying that the price of going to our universities is still so high that we need to offer your kid free tuition. And that's really the story here around just how big the wealth gap has gotten. Because again, you ask any black family, any Hispanic family, normally we've always been told 100,000 is a lot of money. So you have two people in the household making 100,000, but you still can't afford to send your kid to Harvard, to Caltech, to MIT, some of the best universities that really set their child up for life. And why is that? You have a lot of Asian parents, a lot of white parents. They're making $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 a year, and can afford to send their kids to these schools. So it's very interesting. The article really doesn't call that out, but essentially we're saying that even today, inflation has gotten so out of control where you can have two six-figure earners right at the $100,000 mark, and that's still not going to be enough to send your child to one of these elite colleges. So I'm glad they're doing this for more families that could potentially get their kid into some of these elite universities. But it's also sad that at a $200,000 household income, you will still go broke trying to send your kid to one of these top schools.